through the night or the night before, one of the nights.
Well, the other night, that Sunday was a lovely day.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I found it. I was just getting ready to send her information.
Hey, Crystal, am I muted?
Yes. No, you're not muted. We can hear you.
Could you also send me the agenda? Because I don't think I received it.
I'll send it again. Okay. Then would it be helpful if I pull the agenda up on the screen?
Oh, much better light on you today, Nico.
Oh, yeah?
Ew, it's not like you're sitting in the dark like last time.
I'm getting used to it. Learning curve.
Hey, we're all learning.
Yeah.
I don't have a flag tonight.
Hello? I'm in. Yes, thank you for checking. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know how long I can stay, but it's just good to let them know that we're watching. That's all.
Okay,
So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
okay.
Thanks.
Ladies, just no, you're not muted. Wanda and Star. They are now.
We're waiting for Bruce. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in my swipes.
Why are you raising your hand, Nico?
I was just testing.
Oh. Okay.
Now I know how to do it. I'll lower it.
I did it for you. You're okay.
Oh, thanks.
Nico, I'm sending it to you again. All three of your emails.
Got it. Thank you.
I don't know if he's coming or not.
All right, let's see.
Guess we might as well get started. I think Bruce will do this when he's able to. I'd like to call the meeting to order for May 5th for the agenda workshop for the Tustin Town Board. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 1.3 on those that do have the agenda, just the announcement, is not public comment during the workshop. Follow up with the town board for further information and questions. The purpose is to have a discussion in order to set our agenda for our regular meeting. Board discussion on agenda items. We'll start with Nico. Dog fees and kennels, dog enumeration, and a dog leash law. Nico, I don't think there's much we can really do right now as far as your enumeration due to our current situation. But it has come to the attention of the board that you had an incident earlier within the month down in the flats.
Yeah, there was a dog bite involving someone from out of town and a dog that this young man wasn't very familiar with. He had just recently adopted it, and he came to Narrowsburg to help a friend move and was walking the dog in the flats, and got loose and bit a woman. It was pretty severe. Her arm ended up being a lot of puncture wounds on her arm, and her dog was bit as well.
I know I'd spoken with Randy about this as far as some of the things. Were you notified by the hospital at all of the dog bite?
I got a phone call from the health department, rabies division.
What is the protocol for dog bites as far as once you're notified? Do they have to, obviously, were you able to find the dog?
So I made contact with the gentleman who had the dog who bit the person, and the protocol for that is, generally I would go to the site. In this case, I was not comfortable, so I gave him a call. I actually got a phone call from the troopers as well. It's usually how it works. I get a phone call from the health department and also the troopers, if the troopers are dispatched. And so I called the gentleman who had the dog, and I informed him. He was previously informed, but I re-informed him that his dog needs to be in quarantine for 10 days and watched. Also, that he immediately needs to send me his proof from the vet specifically for vaccinations. The tags don't, they're a bit obsolete. They don't really matter. Rabies tag. And then I follow up in the middle, somewhere on the 5th day, and then I follow up on the last day to make sure that the dog was quarantined and healthy.
What about the individual, however? That got bit?
Yeah, I follow up with them as well. And in this case, I follow up with her in the middle. I follow up with her at the end of the 10-day quarantine for the dog. And when I follow up on the 10th day, it sounds like she still had suffered some nerve damage in her arm. I don't know if she's going to pursue with a lawsuit. It didn't feel like it was my place to ask, but generally that happens.
Apparently there's another dog down on the flats that is aggressive from the letters that we have gotten. The letter that we have gotten.
So I'm not aware of this. No one's informed me.
Okay. I only know this from the letter that we all got. I thought one was sent to you as well, Nico.
Yeah, but no specific information for me to investigate, other than another dog bite, or an aggressive dog. I'm just not sure. So I'll need specifics about that dog, and to pursue it.
Maybe Sue Powell should contact Nico.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let her know if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I spoke with Brandy earlier today too about a leash law. We've got one, I believe, still on the books, Nico.
Yeah, it's what I believe what our town has is pretty generic, standard, and leash law is included. It's hard to enforce that, but it's in there.
Right. I mean, maybe looking at, I don't know, do you think putting some signs up maybe in the residential areas might?
Yeah, I think that would be, I'm definitely open to suggestions on that kind of stuff.
I mean, not that this, walking her dog, this dog was actually in the yard, but the board was looking for some suggestions as far as trying to get some information out there.
Yeah, I think that would be great if we could figure out some high-vis signs, legitimate, the ones that are metal and that have an epoxy coat, and hammer them in around the parks.
I would imagine that if we talk to the highway department, they always, reach out to get the signs, and I bet you that they would be able to, the county probably already has a standard sign
Mhm.
about leash law.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
takes them like 6 months to get you a sign. That's a problem.
Oh, and now even more, right? Okay.
So,
Mhm.
Ben, did you go to 10 Mile River on the way home perchance?
I did not, I meant to, and I totally forgot, but I will check
Anytime. I mean,
for our next meeting. And I think we could probably, I don't think we need to necessarily go through the county to get signs. I think we should be able to find signs readily available, commercial signs. We could put that on the agenda for next week. And
Yes.
If you want, I'll research that and see what I can find and bring some samples of what's out there next for the meeting.
okay,
Yeah, I also can help in any way.
yeah, and I'll check. I told Brandy that I would check down to 10 Mile just to see. The Park Service already had something up on their bulletin board, but with the trail down there and the amount of use.
Seen a there, I walked down there. I wasn't looking for one, but I've never seen one. It never jumped out at me.
Yeah, that's a bit of the problem there is visibility. I discussed briefly with Brandy about, oh, there we go.
Just so you know, they are out there. These are
Mhm.
all plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah, so you can get like this sign and this one.
Great.
Guess I'll take this off my list. My to-do list.
Thanks, Crystal.
So do you guys want me to spearhead this with the signs?
Yeah, that would be good. Bring us back something or, be in touch with Brandy and we can get some prices, get an authorization and get some signs up in areas that don't have them.
Perfect.
How many are you thinking about in the flats, Ben?
I would say at least probably down on, we'd also talked about something similar with kind of 10 Mile River, as far as like a bulletin board that could hold a couple of different notices, things like the leash law.
The people walk in a lot of places down at TMR, and I think that you need separate signs, not just on a bulletin board, but signs in different locations. One on the actual 10 Mile River Road along the 10 Mile River. You'll need one down on Crawford. You'll need at least two going up the hill. One at the entrance of the Tustin Mountain Trail, but because
Yeah,
people,
we could do the same at the park. We could put a couple different ones at the park, and then maybe one on Fifth going down towards the flats, so that people coming out of town going down that way understand. Again, the problem is going to be the dogs in the yards that need to be, but at least this way, maybe they'll see the signs and it'll help. But with the amount of people that are walking, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. So we'll get that on the agenda.
Should we send
Yeah,
another,
I have a, what's that, Crystal?
would you want to send out some kind of like a reminder pertaining to the dog laws? Since we do have an increase in population right now that are probably going to be here for a much longer time.
Yeah, I think
the
Facebook,
PDM was like $224.
The problem with, second homeowners or new people to the area is they may not have getting mail up here. That was my issue with that. But the people who are here should get it in the mail. That's a good point.
All right, so we'll work on that. The next thing is a Little Lake Erie Culvert project. Jane, I don't know I know we had discussed earlier about having the engineering company show up here and then taking a look at Jackletown Road, because that beaver dam went out.
Wait. First of all, I can't see anybody in here. I don't know what happened. But what are you saying about Town Road and that project?
Remember, we had some discussions about the engineering company coming and actually taking a look at the Beaver Dam up on Town Road.
I think they did that originally. I can ask the engineer if that was included, but I thought probably it was because when Don and I met with them down at the culvert, we talked about it.
Okay.
So
We were concerned because it did go out on Friday night and brought a pretty good amount of water down. So if they were under construction, I don't know what that would do. What we're looking to find out is maybe what level they want that beaver dam to be at. You know, and right now, since there's no water, do they want it to stay low, or are they going to allow the beavers to bring the water back up to the higher level and then risk having that again during construction?
okay, so you're saying that with all the rain that we had, the dam broke, did it?
Yes.
And then did we flood the culvert over?
It didn't top the road down here, which goes to Steve Stewart's point about having the
The overflow.
overflows.
I think we also should look at the dam and maybe a solution to this issue, because it's ongoing, and the water that will affect Little Lake Erie residents, you know, that could be a tremendous problem. So I think there are ways of dealing with allowing the beavers to make their dam and to be able to control the water release, like, because I think we own the culvert up there. And I think it's worth looking at it, especially with an engineer who would understand, you know, what our options are to preserve the nature, but also protect the residents downstream and possibly retain that as pond rather than it.
Well, why don't I contact the engineer and let him know that we're concerned because once again, the beaver dam broke and it was during a heavy rain. Is that what it was? During heavy?
Yes. Yeah, it
And,
was-
and Lake Erie, you know, went up in height. And we want to know how much investigation they did to that Cackletown Road Beaver Dam area when they did their investigation. I think we should find that out first. The issue is if we do anything else, it'll be on a new dime because that grant is pretty well spent.
Look, Nico's raising his hand.
I lost the opportunity somewhere on the computer to do that. So I'd like to let everybody here know that I actually have a colleague. I've been training with beaver, non-lethal beaver issues for a couple of years. And I would definitely love the opportunity to help with this as well. I know it's a big thing, but I've contacted my colleague who works for the Park Service, who installs flow devices as well, and he is happy to come, do a site assessment. And there's 20 years of data backing up the success of these flow devices. So I just want to throw that out there.
All right. Well, let's find out what they did do and how much they know, and go from there. I think that's where we start. What do you think?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think just to bring it up and have the conversation with them before they start doing work, and we've got a $500,000 worth of bridge down the Delaware.
I know. It's not $500,000, it's a whole million.
I was assuming it wasn't done when it washed away.
Oh, funny. Okay.
2.3, I've already spoken to Danielle about. We had a question regarding the code enforcement officer, if he has a inspectable job, if his company has an inspectable job here in the township, do we allow our second code enforcement officer in the town to inspect it, or do we use another town? And the recommendation was to use a different town to inspect it. So that's what that was. 2.4, water and sewer. I don't think Dave is in yet. He was going to try to. They need some software updates done. They're in the process of getting some figures for that. One of the other things, more importantly, that I feel anyway, the pump at the Kirk Road pump station, there's 2 pumps there that pump the effluent towards the sewer plant. One of the 2 pumps has become inoperable. It needs to be replaced. With the $800 charge for the expedited shipping, it'll be here sometime in June, a minimum of 5 weeks. It's a $9,800 pump. We need to wait 5 weeks in order to get it. I had him order it, and in the meantime, there'll be a backup from the town of Thompson. They do have a portable pump that would work if we had an issue with the other pump. So you only use 1 pump at a time. We've got 1 pump now, but under the current conditions, it could create a problem. So that will bring up at the board meeting, and also he'll have a report for us as far as the software updates. The program that we have right now that they use for billing, the way it works is they go and read the meters by radio frequency. It gets logged into the computer, and then it goes into the program, and they're able to generate the bills for it. Our radio meters have become outdated, so some of those need to be replaced sooner than the rest, but there will have to be a whole replacement. The current program that we have right now does not work and is not compatible with Windows 10, so that needs to be updated. And I'll have a report from him regarding that. Is there any questions that anybody has that I might be able to answer on that?
This isn't a question, just a comment that once again, Dave Bunn really shows us how valuable he is, because he has the connections with Thompson, and I mean, he just always comes through. I'm just so pleased that we have him.
That was, yeah, that was a concern, and my concern was what were we going to do in the interim if we had another problem. He had the answer before, he came to meet with me to tell me what was wrong, so.
Yeah, I know, he's really good.
So I'll have more on that, but that is something that's coming up as far as the water and sewer department goes. Generators, I talked to Jim today. They're going to continue on the 18th of May. They are still not in. And Jim is going to be looking to begin the preliminary engineering for the sewer plant in well number 3. There is some talk that he's looking at a different type of generator because these have taken so long to come in. So I don't know if he's going to have something that's for us by the meeting or not, but that's a little bit of an update on where that is. Sam Grant, we've received the specs from Jim regarding the roof, so we can hopefully have that together so we can put that to the board for the next meeting so that we can put that out to start receiving some quotes on getting the roof done. And the other Sam Grants we've been reviewing to get the funding back in.
What does that mean?
Which part?
Are they being put on hold because of the current situation, or?
I don't think the roof we're going to go forward with. I have not heard anything that the funding has been held up.
Okay.
The only thing I know with Brandy, we'd had the discussion regarding the next phase of the streetlights. Some of that funding has been reapplied elsewhere, but it's supposed to come back. But I've heard nothing as far as the SAM grants and getting them repaid for. And I think that's probably because that's a budgeted item already. It's not a projected item.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Ben, is the roof going to be asphalt or a metal roof?
I was under the impression it was going to be an asphalt. I don't know that whether we had talked about doing it as a metal roof. Yeah, he's got it listed as architectural shingles.
Okay.
ZBA resolution to hold a meeting that we actually don't need. That was a mistake that I had put on there. But 2.9, the BAR, the Board of Assessment Review. 2.7.
She changed the number. She changed the numbers while you were looking at your piece of paper.
All right. Updated you.
Oh my God. It's like working with my wife.
She heard that.
Okay. On the bar resolution, the Board of Assessment Review, in order for them to hold the meeting remotely, they're going to need a resolution. And I know normally we don't do resolutions during our workshop. However, we would have to have this passed next Tuesday, and then Crystal would have to have it in the paper on next Wednesday. I would rather get it out there a little bit sooner. So I do have a resolution. I don't know if Crystal's got it in order to put up, but if not, I'll read it. And I don't really have a problem putting forth a resolution on this because it's something to help, and it's not like it's a backdoor issue. The way the resolution reads, it's a resolution authorizing the Board of Assessment Review to conduct a grievance day by teleconference due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas the Board of Assessment Review meets annually on a grievance day, which is May 26, 2020, for the purpose of reviewing duly filed grievances against property value assessments. And whereas the world is in the midst of a global pandemic with respect to the virus COVID-19, resulting in the governor's declaration of a state of emergency on March 7th, 2020. And whereas on March 12th, 2020, the governor issued Executive Order 202.1, which one permits public bodies such as the Board of Assessment Review to meet and take such actions authorized by law without permitting in-person access to meetings. And two, authorizes such meetings to be held remotely by teleconference, call, or similar service, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to such proceedings, and that such meetings are recorded and later transcribed. And whereas the town of Tustin has subscribed to Zoom, a teleconferencing application which satisfies the requirements of Executive Order 202.1, now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Tustin, one, that the Board of Assessment Review for the town of Tustin is authorized but not required to conduct its annual meeting using the Zoom application and take such actions authorized by the law without permitting in-person access to the meeting. And be it further resolved, two, that the public shall have the ability to view or listen to such proceedings, and such meeting is recorded and later transcribed. And be it further resolved, three, that a meeting notice shall be promulgated with which such give public notice regarding details on attending the meeting remotely. I would put that in the form of a resolution, and I would do a roll call vote. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, in the form of a motion. I got a second by Jane. Brandy?
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
And I will go with an aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
3.0 horse, I think we're just still waiting for our time before we can take our next step. Any more on that, Brandy, or we're just waiting for our seeker review?
Oh, okay, yeah, we still have the resolution up. We've got to get back to, we're at the horse then?
Everyone received the emails
Yeah.
that I forwarded?
What's that?
Or we did get back from the county? Review.
I did not see the review.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
Just be-
Community hall, kitchen stove, reviewing grant funding. So we don't have much going on with that. Open board discussion. First thing on there is work status referencing social distancing. We've done a couple things here at the town hall and a couple things that are we're in the process of getting ready for hopefully some sort of an opening with more interaction with the public. The first one was we did purchase a different lock box for outside. It's actually a little bit bigger to accept. Some people have been doing payments in cash, so we had to make sure we were right there at the time they were dropping them off. So we got a larger locked receptacle that you'll see put outside. The other thing is we're in the process of putting a secondary type door, mostly for use in the warm weather, that will allow people to have an interchange with whoever's in the office. Somebody comes and needs some records from the town clerk, instead of having to open up the building to allow them in. The secondary door, it's going to be in excess of the regular door that's going to be there. So the main door will be open so that people know the building is available. Also, it's going to be as a barrier that allows a window in it for viewing, discussion, and being able to slide papers back and forth to keep the interactions. And I did have a discussion prior to the meeting regarding the wearing of face masks here in the office. Any questions on that at all, or comments, or?
What did you discuss, your discussion about wearing face masks in the office? Can you expand on that?
Just when we get more than, say, Crystal and I are here working, we get somebody that comes in, you know, whether we are or are not wearing our face masks in the office, because maybe the two of us are here, but if we have a third person come in, to have our masks available to put them on, so that the people coming in obviously are going to have masks. We'll have our masks here so that they also, you know, more protecting of everybody.
Okay, yeah.
And then as far as when this door gets set up, that'll be a little bit better, because now we're going to have more of a barrier. So people aren't going to need to come into the building. You know, we had a lot of people in the building today, all town employees, small place, some with masks, some without masks. You know, this way, now the office can be conducted, once the door's up, the warm weather's here. Now we can conduct it through the door, and nobody really needs to be in the office except the people that are actually there. I know, like Kenny hasn't been to the office since the 16th of March. If he's got something, he just drops it inside the door. So Crystal, when is that going to be? I talked to Dave, he was working on that today. We're having the door is going to be prefabricated, so it should be up hopefully by the time the warm weather comes, and then depending on how the governor starts allowing some things to open up.
When I talked to Dave, he's hoping to have things ordered sometime this week. So possibly sometime next week, we'd be able to have that door available. That way, because we have been dealing with the public here and there. They usually just drop stuff in the drop box for us. If we have to hand something to them, they knock on the door, we hand it to them, and off they go. So this would just be more of a protective thing. And we already have the doorbell. We also, something to think about down the road, if we have to do in-person meetings, I mentioned it to a couple of the people in the offices, that if it's a nice day, we do have the seating out in front of the office, for them to sit outside. If we had to do inside of the building, we could always utilize the town hall if necessary. Set up a table, we have dividers if you have to do more than one. We could set up a table and have someone on either end. Plenty of space. We did have somebody come in to review tax maps and the tax roll and stuff. We just set that downstairs.
Parking regarding the Bridge Street issues, I haven't got anything back from Danielle on that. Wayne Bank, Jill?
Everything is with the planning board, and I sent the original engineer's report from West Illing to Jack, and she reviewed it and sent it off to, and she sent it off to both Gary Packer and to Ed. So because they were going to start, figuring out where to put lights, but all that had been done. Why are we paying a second person to do it when all that figuring had been done? So I sent that information off, and they're having a meeting next week on Monday, the 18th. And then a public hearing, I think, is in June for that. Details within the parking lot itself for the subdivision, but they're requiring certain things, so.
Jane, do you have anything you wanted on the impact grant?
Well, the impact grant, it looks like it's not going to happen. Remember I told you that I spoke with Allison Capella from Sullivan Renaissance? She phoned me, and, I think it's been put on hold with an indefinite time period and may not happen this year. So they have our applications. They'll let us know when the application is going to be reopened. I think it's to our favor because we can have the feasibility study done by then, and maybe they'll allow us to amend the application. So it's really on hold right now. That's all.
Okay. Zoom meetings, I guess for the foreseeable future, we're probably going to be doing this.
We're having another Zoom meeting on May 11th, right, Crystal? Yes, for the comp plan. Ben, you'll have to join us on that.
I'll check my schedule.
No, you
He's
mean
available,
on
it's
your
much nodded.
schedule.
Lawn mowing bids are going to be received on May the 8th. To be opened Monday, May the 11th. That way we can review them and then award that at the regular meeting.
What time, May 11th, are you going to do it via Zoom?
It's 1 o'clock.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
I
okay.
have to look on the paper. Sorry.
And we still got municipal cleanup day. And our census is getting better.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock? 2 o'clock on the
May 11th.
11th. Anybody else have anything in open discussion to add or to?
I do. I'm just wondering, can we just make note that someone's going to call the people who are going to paint the library parking lot lines, just to make sure that we're in line?
I can do that, yeah. I'll give the county a call for that.
I know Don's been talking to somebody in Honesdale that was going to do it privately because he can't do it. We've been talking to them for like 2 years, and we were going to be the first in the spring, but now that they have reduced manpower, I know it's an issue, but any way we could get it done, it doesn't matter to me.
Sending out a text as you talk.
Great.
Yeah, Don's been on this, so.
Yeah, he's been talking to the guy in Honesdale, but
He stopped talking to the guy in Honesdale a while back because he spoke to the county back at the end of last year, and the county said that they would do it as soon as spring came. So he hasn't been in contact with anybody in Honesdale
okay.
since early fall.
Oh, all right. I know that he said in early fall, he said, can we be on your list for early spring? And
Yeah,
and
I
they
just
said
don't know
they
where it
wouldn't
is
come
at
out
this
here.
point. I don't care.
They wouldn't come out to give us an estimate, if you will. And then we asked him if he could reach out to the county and see if they would be able to do it. And they said, yes, they would do it. They would do it in the spring. But now, because of the current layoffs and situation, I did speak to him a couple days ago, and he was reaching out to them again to get an idea of like the time frame.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we get on a list, a waiting list, that would be great, because I know it's been a while. They really need those lines.
The library's closed.
And I'll get hold of you, Brandy, if he gets back to me tonight as far as what the availability of that is.
Who's that, Don, you just texted?
No, I texted the county.
Oh, the county guy. Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other things other than our closing items?
Hmm. No?
Not for me.
Nope.
Okay, our, hold on one second. Okay, the county thinks they should still be able to do the parking lot.
Cool.
So I will set that up and then I'll have hopefully a better answer for you by the meeting.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be done by the meeting.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, it is gonna snow on Friday, so anything's possible. Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for the 12th at 6:30. And then we've also got the special meeting for the seeker on the 26th at 6:20 p.m.
And Ben, Jennifer Porter has said that the man who owns the company that makes the horse, it's called Impact Bioenergy. She'd like him to be on ready on Zoom to answer any technical questions. He's a lawyer and he knows everything about this, the production, the maintenance, every single thing, because it's his company. And he would be a wealth of information if anybody from the public had any questions or any that came up. So if you don't mind, I could invite him as well.
Yeah, that would be good, and probably we'll let Danielle know that he's going to be there.
Okay, great. I will.
All right, I guess I can move to adjourn, right?
Thank you.
Sec-
I will second. Yes, Jill?
I seconded.
Oh,
I beat you.
I am an I. Jill?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Be
Yeah,
safe.
thanks so much.
Week.
Have a good evening.